Comedy Bronze Day 600. Berlin in Flames.
Welcome to Comedy Bronze, episode 716?
16.
What are we?
It's 16. We're up to 16. Learn to count.
Almost legal.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, unless they've changed the sex laws here in Victoria, already legal.
If you have to ask what the age of consent is, the answer is no.
No, I think it'd probably still be an age.
The answer is no.
Oh, okay.
So, Sean, what do we... You know what, I'm even asking you. First up, we've got email.
We've got email.
We've got email. Email singular, once again.
Yeah.
We received an email?
Yes.
Why don't you read it out?
I will. Hey, guys. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. Time is spelt as in the herb. Pokemon is one of my favorite games to play since I was young. And I have always thought an MMO of the game would be awesome. I know both of you have strong opinions about the Pokemon games, so my question to you is, do you think an MMO would work in the sense of, would people play it? What would be the goal of the game? And why the hell haven't they done this already? Sent from my iPhone, Alex, smiley face emoticon.
That is an excellent series of questions, Alex.
Smiley face emoticon.
So, Sean, Pokemon MMOs. What do you reckon?
Question face emoticon?
Question mark of face icon?
Why haven't they made an MMO?
Well, as you were reading it, I realized the answer to that question.
Okay.
Nintendo sucks at the internet.
Well, yeah, they do.
The online stuff for all of their consoles that have had an online component has been a joke.
Yep.
The Wii's online is a joke. The DS and 3DS's online is a joke. The Wii U's online is also a joke.
Yes, it is.
They still have no unified account system.
No, they don't.
Or any concept of tying purchases to anything other than a physical console.
No, that's true.
They are operating at a level of... It's not even old-fashioned. It's no one else ever did this.
Yeah. But the question I have to ask to you at that point would be, wouldn't Game Freak be the ones who would be implementing it? So couldn't it just have...
It doesn't matter.
Nintendo
is ultimately in charge of everything.
Couldn't they just have slapped the Nintendo logo on it and just made a Game Freak-made MMO?
Maybe, but Nintendo is so shit in the online space that I don't think they would even see the benefits or possibilities of an MMO.
Okay.
They clearly don't understand how the internet works.
Well, they clearly don't understand how much money they could fucking make from this.
Well, on the making money stakes, I mean, Pokemon MMO sounds like an immediate slam dunk.
Well, yes. It does.
Yeah, but a couple of years ago, you would have said Star Wars MMO sounds like an immediate slam dunk as well, wouldn't you?
No, because they tried that a couple of times now.
Well, what I'm saying is before the Old Republic came out, you would have said, Star Wars MMO, yes, automatic success, biggest in the world.
Well, no, I would have said only if they do it right.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that caveat. So, on IP and brand recognition alone, I can't think you could say it would be a success. I think it would be a success.
The whole idea of both the world that is portrayed in the anime and the video game construct that we've been playing for, nearly 20 years, they both lend themselves quite well to an MMO-style game.
In a lot of ways, yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah. Well, in which ways would you not?
Well, I have no specific disagreements.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just want to be contrary.
Keep talking. I'm inviting you to speak.
Okay.
Speak away.
I mean, the only really weird thing would be the same question that everyone's had for a long time. Where does the meat come from?
Yeah, I guess that is a question.
Like, will there be a survival element to it, and will I have to kill and eat Pokemon?
What are you doing? I'm butchering this Parasect for its juicy flesh.
It doesn't matter. The Parasect can't feel anything since the mushrooms on its back have already controlled it.
Alright, thank you, Sean, who clearly plays way too much Pokemon.
No, I just know... Well, yes.
Wow, delicious mushroom bug. That'd be so tasty. Sorry, I want to make sure I want to make sure we address all of Alex's points. So we've done... Why haven't they done it already? What were the other ones?
Why haven't they already done it? Would it work? In the sense of, would people play it? What would be the goal of the game, and why the hell haven't they done this already? Well, we've discussed one reason why they wouldn't have done it already in a different podcast, just about a different subject, and it's demographics.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Nintendo actually cares about this, but I suspect it's a lot. Because as the Pokemon games have gone on, my, ongoing gripes with them have been, lack of intuitive menus and things that people my age who are all crotchety and sick of dicking around
New Game
want.
Plus.
Yeah, New Game Plus would be amazing for Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo doesn't seem to give a shit because to their minds at least, Pokemon games and Pokemon in general is still for kids.
Well, they've also got a set formula. They put 8 badges in, they put X number of new Pokemon in, and money comes out the butt. So
that's pretty much it. They
yeah.
have made the same game like 20 times now, and they have been rewarded every go round.
And the problem is, complain as I might, they'll do it again, and I'll buy it again.
Yeah, but I don't think their target demographic owns PCs that can run MMOs.
No.
Most of their target demographic probably is too young to pay subscription fees for an MMO. So
most of
the business model. Oh yeah, I mean I haven't even considered the possible business model. I just assumed it would be a sub MMO, free from free to play shenanigans. But
no, I assumed it would have a subscription.
I mean, but if they make it and it's not aimed at people who can afford subscriptions,
oh, you mean like
there could be all sorts of rancid bullshit.
Well, I assume if they did make it, it'd be like a Club Penguin scenario. It's like, yeah, you can sign up, and you can play. That's cool. But after 6 to 8 hours, they'll ask you the question about why don't you just trundle your little prepubescent legs out the room and go ask for Mummy's credit card, and then. Because it's shaky white wine mummy time, so you could probably get away with it. And let's
go find your wobbly mother and buy some penguins.
Yeah, some penguin dollars,
some Pokebucks.
Yeah, that's all they have to do. I mean, that's that. I don't understand why they haven't already done that. Like, just jumped on the Club Penguin style MMO bandwagon and just fucking make fucking make Neopets.
It's probably because Neopets and Club Penguin are both, giant piles of shit, and Nintendo sort of want to avoid diluting the Pokemon brand too much.
Yeah, but they could stick some of that Pokemon brand money back into it to make more money. Isn't that how businesses did?
Sure. Moving away from business matters we know nothing of.
Yes, I own a suit.
Let's talk about the ways that Pokemon would work as an MMO.
Okay. We touched on this briefly in a short discussion we had yesterday. The best way that we think that the just general gameplay should go would be ordinary, going around catching Pokemon, collecting Pokemon, and having a Pokedex, yada, yada, yada. But rather than there being the Pokemon League of the game style, it should be the Pokemon League of the anime TV show style, where it's just a competition between a bunch of people.
Yeah, with the Elite Four at the end.
Yes. So the idea is that maybe once a month or once a fortnight, every period X of time, they have a Pokemon League. Or they have several Pokemon Leagues in each region going at the same time.
Yeah, so being the master of a Pokemon League would be like an actual huge accomplishment rather than just the consolation prize that everyone gets at the end of the game, because the Elite Four is not that hard.
Yeah. So you could have... you could do the World of Warcraft style thing and have Chivos, so you could have a Pokemon Master achievement so that you could change your title, all that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, in the very sort of broad strokes, Pokemon could absolutely, sort of at least. Wow, that's a fucking qualified statement.
It's a shamble of a sentence.
Yeah. Could mostly be run like a World of Warcraft content churner, where, every year you add another region.
Yep.
With another bunch of Pokemon, another group of gyms to conquer.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could probably make it work like that. The problem is, one of the problems with that is that Pokemon doesn't have much of the end game of Pokemon, or of the games as they exist right now, is dicking around in a spreadsheet for 9 hours and then repeatedly breeding Pokemon until they have the correct IVs.
Well, you could just play it in a sense that I just want all the Pokemon.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm leaning towards, is I think there is... The world of Pokemon as shown in the anime, what I remember of it from when I was a wee one.
Yeah.
And the games indicates that there's room for an awful lot of different play styles.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could choose to be a Pokemon photographer, or a Pokemon fashion guru, or a Pokemon breeder, or a Pokemon scientist.
Yeah, or they run into characters all throughout the show who are obsessed with solving the mystery of this one specific location, or training Pokemon under certain conditions to achieve a certain result.
Yeah, like that one guy early on who has like the most amazing Sandslash in the world.
Yeah, who you see again, I think, for 5 seconds once at the Pokemon League.
Sandshrew, sorry. It's not a Sandslash, it's a Sandshrew.
It evolves.
Does it?
Yeah, it's evolved by the time they get to the Pokemon League, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that. And the way gyms work is that basically, as I understand it, anyone can, of sufficient, organizational power, can petition the Pokemon League to set up a gym.
Yeah.
So player organizations could be gyms.
Yeah. Also,
like
so you could
gyms.
have rotating gym rosters. So just say for this month or for this next period of time, 3 months or whatever, these 8 gyms are the ones you need to qualify with before you can enter a Pokemon League. And then in 3 months' time, the leaders of those gyms will battle amongst themselves to see who's best there, and whoever wins that, they get to be the part of the next gym roster.
Yeah, I mean, whichever way you do it.
Yeah.
I think there are lots of ways to make players feel more involved in the higher level goings on
Hell yes.
of the game.
Yeah.
Beyond just, the running around punching rats in the face and capturing them in tiny balls.
Yeah. And then training them until they turn into just a bigger rat.
Yeah. God damn it, Raticate. You are the laziest evolution. It was a little rat. Now it's a big rat.
Yeah.
Shupty fucking whoop.
I mean, at least give it, like, some bubonic plague look.
Yeah.
Like, some
Sure.
crazy eyes.
Why not?
Maybe some rabies. Make it look like it's got rabies. Rabicate. Rabicate. There we go.
Abandoned ship. One problem I foresee is that Pokemon, as it works now at least, has a pretty hard level cap,
Yes.
which is 100, after which a Pokemon is the strongest it will ever be.
Well, I mean, you could just do the WoW thing, and then every new patch, yep, it's 10 extra levels. 10 extra
Yeah,
levels.
so it's 10 extra levels for every Pokemon you have.
Yeah, that could take forever.
That seems like a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants that.
No, it's fine. I get a chance to train up my 730-something Pokemon up an extra 10 levels, which will be hard because they're already such a high level anyway.
Well, the other thing is that Pokemon don't work exactly like an MMO character.
No, they don't.
Like, MMO characters tend to accumulate a lot of abilities and items and stuff over the
Yes.
course of their career. So Pokemon, at least in the battle system as it's currently implemented, have access to, like, a dozen moves or something that they will naturally learn.
But
And one passive ability.
before we go on, obviously, fuck the 4-move system.
No, I think the 4-move system is one of the smarter parts of Pokemon.
Oh, but
The
I
only
want it to be
problem-
like the show, where they can just
Yeah,
know all the moves that they can know.
Oh, well, maybe they can know all the moves, but I don't know. I feel like that's a key part of the competitive balance. The thing you want to do is you want to take as much of the work as has already been done
Right.
and move it across to the MMO.
Okay.
Maybe the battle system does need to be completely recreated from scratch. I don't know.
That would
I think
that would be a
you
really
could-
hard one to figure out.
Yeah, you can probably get a lot of mileage just by porting all the stats and abilities and the battle system as it exists now.
So what are you saying
And-
that there would be an overworld and then a battle simulator that's separate, just like in the actual Pokemon games?
No, I think you should see wild Pokemon wandering around and then you just like fight them in that location.
Okay, but could someone else come along and start fighting them, or
I don't know. Maybe not. They'll probably be tagged like mobs in MMOs are now.
okay, so someone else could come and fight them, and they could kill them perhaps before you could, or KO them before you could even capture them. But
Griefing! I love it.
yeah, I mean, there's always going to be. You got to think about whether or not there's going to be a method of griefing, because whether or not they realize that their demographic, or that there shouldn't be a demographic, and it should just be people who like Pokemon will like this game. They got to realize that there will be children who play the game as well as adults, probably just as many children as adults. So, trying to eliminate sources of griefing is going to be a good idea. Although that's probably the same thought that all game developers should have if they're making some sort of online game.
Although when you think about it, what is Wonder Trade other than an organized griefing system?
I don't know. I've gotten some really nice Pokemon out of Wonder Trade.
They were all hacked.
No.
Hacked cheaty Pokemon.
No, they weren't. Some guy was just handing out Charmanders.
That was cool of him, I guess.
Yeah. I got like 3 Charmanders off the one guy. Because I said thank you to him, and he was like, oh, do you want anything else? I would like 3 more Charmanders, please.
And lo, he made it happen.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I just love breeding, so have some Pokemon. I'm like, well, you're a fucking champ. Thank you,
I think
person in
MMOs are about due for some sort of shake-up.
I think Pokemon could really shake up the MMO world.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
it could either turn into a weird niche thing like Eve, or it could turn into something awful like WoW. I mean, there's really not much difference, not much middle ground in MMOs at the moment.
Well, I was thinking that since it already has such a huge fan base outside of the MMO community, people who watch the show, who play the games, who fucking get tattoos of Pokemon, who wear onesies of their favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, but this is the thinking that led to everyone assuming the Old Republic would be a huge success, and it just fucking doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fans of a thing are not necessarily going to want to play an MMO of a thing.
That's true, but I would counter that argument by saying that the fans of this thing are fans of the games as well. So if you can find some way to incorporate the Pokemon...
Well, yeah, that's exactly why I said you need to keep the battle system as similar as possible.
Yeah, well, I don't know if... it would be... See, this is why we don't work for Game Freak, because otherwise we'd probably...
Yeah, this is the reason.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the reason. Not that I keep, you know...
Not that I won't return my letters.
Yeah.
Or that you're banned from Japan for reasons.
Not that I've even been to Japan. How did they ban me before I got there?
Preemptively banned.
Preemptively banned. And that Sean fucker, a letter just appears at the Japanese embassy one day. There is a Japanese embassy here, right?
Konnichiwa, shitbag! You have been banned from Japan, Des.
Deser.
The end.
Yeah. Have we answered all the questions? What would be the goal of the game? Well, the goal of the game would be to be the best it ever was.
Yeah, well, on some level you say, yeah, basically. To catch them as URL test something cause.
Yeah, it's in the fucking song. And I mean
every region will have a Pokemon League, every region will have some gyms. Catch all the Pokemons, win all the badges. It's the same as the games.
But the question is, would Ash and Pikachu be in the game?
Oh, probably.
I mean, Pikachu, while he is a shitty Pokemon...
Well, obviously Pikachus are going to be in the game.
But no, he would most likely be the mascot for the game. Just like he is the mascot for everything about the fucking...
Have you seen those videos of people marching in Pikachu costumes?
Yes, I have.
They are mesmerizing.
And very unsettling at the same time.
It's the cuddliest stormtrooping rat.
Yeah, yeah. Do they actually goose step?
No, not really. They sort of wobble.
Oh, okay, cool. But, yeah, goose stepping Pikachus would be fucking terrifying. Yeah, so, look, the reason, there's probably lots and lots of reasons why they haven't done it, but the main reason is they're not sure if there would be enough return on investment, probably. Because it would cost them a lot of money and a lot of time to put into this game to make a game series that has been around for nearly 20 years into an MMO that worked
I disagree. I maintain the biggest reason why they haven't done it is because it literally would never occur to them.
But
Nintendo is just so completely incapable of doing online things.
But they've been
It would not occur to them that anyone wants to.
But even if they looked at, if they had someone internally look at things online and just say, hey, lots of people have been saying for 5-10 years now, we should make an MMO. Should we maybe make an MMO? You'd think that maybe would have come up in one conversation between two people inside Nintendo. But no, instead we get Pokken.
Oh, Pokken Tournament.
Yeah. That is not...
God, those Pokemon look ugly. Have you noticed that?
Well, I mean, admittedly, they are some of the uglier Pokemon. I mean, Machamp is not really going to win
Oh,
anything.
no, they look all weird and semi-photorealistic, but
that's
still
because-
having cartoony proportions.
That's because they made 3D models of them and then fed them into the fucking Tekken engine.
Yeah, I don't know why you would make a Pokemon fighting game that was not cell-shaded.
Well, because fuck...
You'd have to be some sort of blithering incompetent working for Namco.
Yeah, it's just it's because fuck the fans, that's why. It's like, I remember when they announced it too, they were just like, yeah, big Pokemon announcement coming tomorrow, and it was like...
Are you a true fan, TM?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm... and I'm not just OG, I'm all G.
All G all the time?
All G all the time. Yeah, and they were like, yeah, big Pokemon announcement tomorrow, and I was like, yes! Fucking new Pokemon game! And then one tiny voice in the back of my head said... Or maybe a Pokemon MMO, cunt rag. That voice is a real asshole. So, and then we got Pokken, and I was like, well, fuck me, because they're not even doing it with Capcom's Street Fighter engine. Because at least that would be, you know, a better fighting game.
Oh, yeah, that didn't even occur to me. It's going to have the mechanics of a Tekken game, so it'll be shit.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, sure sucks to be people who care about Pokemon right now.
I know. And on that note, this. Hello, I'm brass-buttocked Bertrand, and I'm here to tell you about my new business in the prosthetics. After a horrific accident in Springvale some years ago, I was left bleeding and bumless in an alley. After being under the knife for several surgeries, I found out the doctors would not be able to restore me to my former Callipygian glory. This depressed me for quite some time until I realized that I needed to try and help my fellow man-butt. So after years of research, development, and market testing, I am now able to reveal my brand new line of emergency arseholes. We can cater to all rectums, of all shapes and sizes, and sphincters. We even have a body mod selection that can provide a derriere to even the weirdest among you. Look, this one has teeth! So don't let a doctor tell you that you can't have a hiney to hold up your pants. Say, yes I can, to getting a new can. Get off your seat and get yourself a new seat. Call 1-800-HEINES-ARE-US and order your 100% all-leather posterior replacement today.
That was certainly something.
That was definitely a segment.
Yep. Oh, man, one day I'm going to stop faking enthusiastic reactions to things we haven't recorded yet.
Yeah, things you can't
and just
possibly
say,
have heard.
well, welcome back from the break, maybe.
Is it for fun?
Oh, I don't know what that is. I want to be away from it.
What, is it the robot voice?
Speaking of things I want to be away from.
Yeah, so a little while ago, I told Chris about a pilot that came out for a show that is being released at the end of the year. And he feigned interest, like he does in most things I talk about. And then over the weekend I told him, no, you must watch it because I want to talk about it on next week's podcast. And that show was...
That show was Lucifer.
Which was supposedly an adaptation of the comic from Vertigo by the... Is it the guy that does... It's not the guy that does Fables, is it? No, it's the guy that does... what's that other fucking comic? What's it called?
I don't know. The comic is called Lucifer, and it's based on the version of Lucifer that appeared in The Sandman.
Yes, it's actually set in the same universe.
Set in the same universe as Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, one of the greatest, most critically acclaimed comics of all time.
Yes.
Exploring the ongoing adventures of one of its characters.
Yes.
One of its more memorable characters, in fact.
Yes, even though he didn't appear very often in The Sandman. He's only in like three issues, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the Preludes and Nocturnes arc. No, he's in more than... Actually, it might be exactly 3.
Yeah. He shows up for like 10 minutes at one point and he's like, yes, I'm still the devil. Although I'm not really the devil.
Deviling away.
Yeah, over to you,
in
Neil.
Earthrealm. Thanks, Mr. Lucifer. All right, lads, get the gear in. I don't know what Neil does.
He moves the gear.
So, Lucifer, the comic book, is about, the ongoing adventures of Lucifer Morningstar.
Yes.
On Earth.
Yep.
In exile from his position as ruler of Hell.
Well, not in exile. He retired.
Well, yeah. Retirement.
Yep.
And
he packed it in.
I mean, it's about all sorts of shit. It's about the legacy of God after he, departs the universe. It's about the creation of a new universe outside the...
New universes, actually.
Yeah,
multiple.
Outside the purview of the Almighty?
Yes.
What do you mean new universes? There's only one.
No, there's two, and then it becomes one again.
Huh. Anyway, and an endless cavalcade of mythological creatures and a bunch of new exciting foes and enemies that Lucifer, meets or creates, as the case may be.
Or beats the shit out of.
So naturally, they, took all these elements.
Yep.
And they looked at them, and they considered them, and they weighed them, and they said, fuck it, let's make a police procedural.
Yep. So, the show starts with Lucifer hanging out at his club, which is in the comic. And then he meets up with some bird. He's British, so I'm allowed to call her a bird. Some bird he knows.
If you think Sean is a sexist a-hole, send us an email to thirdplacejoke@gmail.com.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me I'm a sexist a-hole. Do it! And, so he's hanging out with this girl, and he talks to her about the fact that she needs to get her shit together. And then she gets shot in front of him. And Lucifer, the guy who, helped God create fucking suns, the giant gas balls that power the universe, decides, you know what, I'm going to take some time out of my incredibly busy schedule of being British, alcoholic, and boning to, find out who killed my friend, in heavy quotation marks.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. And then he somehow... It somehow becomes like a buddy cop show halfway through, where he's the lovable D-bag, and she's the too serious cop, because there's a female cop.
Who just needs to learn to relax and let her hair down, and everything will all work out.
Like that time she was in a movie that they keep referring to in the show, where she got her kid off, and everyone saw her boobs.
Yeah, it's totally... Look, I can't even keep... It's shit. It's shit. It's all shit.
The guy who plays Lucifer is good with what he has to deal with. But, I mean...
Look, here's the thing. The character shown on screen is barely recognizable as the Lucifer from the comics. He's like the combination of Sherlock Holmes from Elementary, Simon Baker from Mentalist, Gregory House, that character.
Yeah, he's the I know everything that's happening everywhere at all times character. You can't fool me.
The clever clogs Caucasian male.
Yep.
How freaking interesting.
And definitely original. I mean,
100%.
I mean, admittedly, in the comic, Lucifer does act like a know-it-all.
That's because he does know pretty much everything, because he's very clever and old.
Well, yes, he is as old as the universe. Almost.
I mean, what is there to even say? If you liked the comic, it's a complete failure as an adaptation.
Yeah.
If you're just interested in seeing, supernatural cop shows...
Yeah, so if you...
I wish the Dresden Files was better, but...
so if you enjoy Grimm, you probably like this. But if you enjoy Grimm, you're an asshole, so die.
Okay.
Have you watched Grimm?
No.
Grimm is one of those shows that rode on the coattails of Fables.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so whether or not
was that the one where the company was like, we're adapting Fables. Actually, we're not adapting Fables. Here's a new show called Grimm.
Yeah. Well, there was actually two companies that both had the same idea at the same time. Wouldn't it be great if fairy tales were real and existed in the real world? Right after they'd been offered the option for buying the Fables rights.
Well, it's pretty shitty, but at the same time, all the Fables characters are public domain, so there's not a lot they can do about it.
That's true. Yeah, so they just were like, yeah, we're going to make Grimm and Once Upon a Time and not give you money for the idea that is better than the both of them put together and covered in cocaine.
Thanks, dudes.
Yeah, although apparently now the option for Fables is being shopped around again. Because Wolf Among Us has done really well.
I find it, actually, now, in retrospect, I'm finding it very hard to get that worked up about Lucifer. I mean, it's bad. The people who made it didn't care about the source material.
Yeah.
And so they just... Is the cop show just sort of the default fallback for lazy TV executives now?
Could it also be that this was the only way they could get a pilot of of an adaptation of that comic through? Like, if they wanted to get that show on the air, they had to play ball with a pilot like this?
Well, they had to pretend it was something it's not. Well, I actually had that thought while I was watching. I was like, wow, if this is going to be the whole show... What a fucking waste of potential.
Because the pilot for, Constantine, which has similar themes and a similar main character,
Yeah.
the pilot for that was very different from the rest of the show. The pilot for that almost ruined the idea of the show for me, and then I watched a couple of episodes after that, and I was like, oh, wait, it's nothing like the pilot. They just happen to have the same names, and none of the other bullshit.
Well, the flip side of that is that if this is not how the show is intending to go on, then a lot of people who will commission it or pay to have it aired based on this part are probably going to be very angry.
Well, I don't think they'll be that
so
angry.
So either way,
money.
It's a bad game. No, I don't think it's going to get ratings. I think this is going to vanish in under one season, and no one is ever going to hear from it again.
Like the Dresden Files.
Like the Dresden Files.
Oh man, I really wanted
Lucifer is not Harry Dresden.
No.
That should be obvious.
It should be, but it's not when you watch the show.
Also, Mazikeen has half a face. That's one of her defining attributes.
Well, they didn't actually confirm whether or not that was Mazikeen. He only refers to her as
very
Maze.
Clearly, whatever. She left hell with him. That's very obviously her.
Yeah, I know. I wanted it to not be. She's like one of the daughters of Lilith. She's a fucking badass demon, and they've made her into some bar wench who only has three lines.
The other thing, the adaptation difficulty of Lucifer is that his nightclub Lux is kind of an upscale joint.
Well, yeah,
of the sort of mildly, well, not even mildly, very posh, very exclusive as it might have existed in the 90s or 80s, because we originally appeared in Sandman.
Yeah.
And the nightlife scene has changed a bit since then.
Quite a bit. But
so
that
not
sort of club still exists.
I guess that kind of club does exist, but they didn't even bother. Like, it just looks like a shitty dance club with a piano in it.
It is a shitty dance club.
And I can't imagine any member of its clientele wanting to listen to Lucifer play the piano.
Well, yeah, they don't. Which was one of almost always my favourite bits when he was back in the club. And he's just like, right, I'm going to play the piano now. No, I don't take requests. I'm going to play this song. And deal with it.
Everyone stops and listens because, of course, he plays it perfectly.
Yeah, except for when he misses a note on purpose because something happened, and I can't remember what.
Yeah, I think that's at the end of the Sandman, actually.
Yeah.
Look, it's shit. Adaptations are tricky.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of adaptations, because there was something I did actually want to bring up aside from Lucifer, and adaptations comes in quite well for this. So I don't know whether or not
I just want to stress that segues are only improved.
Yeah.
If
I ramble.
If you stop and list every way in which it's a good segue, and then do the segue.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely how I.
So you've made it
at
least 6 times better.
Yeah. So D23 was this weekend. Chris, do you know what D23 is?
No fucking clue.
Okay, so D23 is basically Disney's expo. It's called D for Disney, and 23 because Disney was formed in 1923. So they call it D23. So D23 was this last weekend, and they announced a bunch of stuff. And one of the things they announced was the fact that they were like, hey guys, aside from like a cameo in Into the Woods, which is owned by Disney, we don't have a Jack the Beanstalk film. So we're going to do that.
There was a Jack and the Beanstalk film like 2 years ago.
That wasn't made by Disney.
I don't give a fuck who it was made by.
You mean Jack the Giant Slayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't done by Disney.
I don't care.
They're trying to do... the guy who directed Tangled is doing it.
Oh, biggity fuck. Oh, hang on. I've directed my umbrage in the wrong direction. You mean a Disney animated picture based on that particular fable? Oh!
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, I guess.
Yeah, so Disney's Chief Creative Officer, John Lasseter, announced it and aims at...
They've made a bunch of shorts. There's a Mickey Mouse Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's true, but there's no larger Disney film about it. Feature-length film. So Lasseter aims to not only be a big Hollywood version of the fairy tale, but to be the ultimate one. There's a direct quote from Nathan Greener, who's the director of Tangled, saying, we're looking to make the definitive version.
Okay, I don't give a shit about the definitive version of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's not that interesting a story.
Well, they're going to change it up a little bit, and apparently it's supposed to...
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you told me they were making a Rapunzel movie, I would have gone, ugh. But, Tangled is one of my favorite Disney films, so...
Yeah.
Clearly I
So
would have been
this
wrong on
this
that
version's going to be set in Spain, and...
I thought you were going to say space, and I was briefly very excited.
Yeah, and it's a beanstalk to the moon. Yeah, so they said that... while it's going to be a definitive version, it's not going to be a traditional one. So, like, in Spain, and the Jack in their story, when he goes to the world of giants, will meet a spirited young giant girl.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know
Don't you know anything about prophets?
Yeah.
I actually have no objection to this. I just...
Yeah, like, what if she just, like, thinks he's really adorable because he's so tiny?
That seems likely.
Yeah.
Small things are adorable.
Small things are adorable. Have you seen fucking teacup pigs?
I have.
Yeah. I want to get
They're
one.
called piglets.
I want to get one and call it bacon sandwich.
Will Disney ever run out of fairy tales to pilfer? On some level, I don't think they even need to anymore.
What, pilfer?
A lot of borrow plots. A lot of the best Disney and Pixar stuff has been original stories.
Oh, they also, speaking of best Disney stuff, they also announced the plotline for Toy Story 4, which...
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought until I heard the plotline for Toy Story 4.
Oh, please tell me. Please engage my wearied soul.
It's a love story for Woody.
What?
You saying you don't want to see Woody have a happy ending?
Woody had a happy ending. Woody is not a person. Woody is a toy.
But he has feelings, Chris.
Yes.
And
the
I can't believe
most important of those feelings is the satisfaction of his primary purpose.
I can't believe you ignored my awesome joke.
What awesome joke?
Don't you want to see Woody have a happy ending?
No. Oh, that wasn't an awesome joke, but I did ignore it.
Oh.
Let me guess. It's a love story between Jesse and Woody.
No?
No?
No,
Okay.
Jesse's in love with,
with Buzz. Yeah, you're right. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
That would make no sense. All right. Wasn't Woody's true love Bo, and then she left?
Well, she's gone. So, and I don't know if they are a true love. Maybe they're just hooking up for a while, getting that sweet action figure sex happening. Like that bit out of Team America.
All right, tell me the stupid plot.
That's it. That's all they've announced. It's going to happen. Woody will get to fall in love.
Oh, fuck off. Who cares?
Really?
Yes, really. Look, the third Toy Story film was a fucking stretch, and they only salvaged it by it being really good.
Chris, okay, I was going to say, if you hadn't ended that with really good, I was going to say, Chris, you cried. I was there, you cried,
no, Toy Story
I cried,
3
it was
extremely
amazing.
good. It is also an extremely good ending.
Yeah.
Look, I know you love dollars, Mouse Hats Incorporated, but come on, have some dignity. Don't turn Toy Story into Cars. I actually think Cars is only up to 3, but whatever.
I still haven't watched a single Cars movie.
You are missing nothing.
I didn't think I would.
Because reasons, I'm not seeing this. Fuck it. Toy Story ended at 3. I have no interest in any more cowboy-related stories you may wish to tell me, Mr. Disney.
Okay, what happens if I go and see it and then I tell you that it's actually really good?
Doesn't matter. Refusing to see it on a matter of principle.
I think you're going to end up seeing it, even if
That's right. I paid money to see Fantastic Four, and I am declining to see a Pixar film on a matter of principle.
Yeah, okay. The only other thing that was actually interesting from D23 this last week was that Disney...
Wasn't a fuckload of Star Wars merchandise and stuff announced?
They announced that, but I don't care about the merch. The thing I care about, because one day I'll eventually get there, is Disney is bringing Star Wars lands to its parks.
Yep, that makes sense.
So
the movie's coming out in December. Got to get ready.
Well, I've never been. I've never been overseas. So eventually, when I do make it to America at some point, I would really like to go to Disney World, Disneyland.
Yes, I would also like to do that without mocking the handicapped.
I'm making reference to a meme.
Yes, and that meme mocks the handicapped.
No, it makes fun of a silly freeze frame from an animated film.
No. Pretty sure it mocks the handicap.
No, I think you're mocking the handicap by thinking it's about
If you
the
think
handicap.
Sean is mocking the handicap, send an email to thirdplacejoke@gmail.com.
Or if you think that Sean is just completely innocent and is referring to a cartoon, please email us at thirdplacejoke@gmail.com.
And I'll delete them and replace them with ones that say Sean's a monster.
Okay. Anyway, so they announced that they're going to happen. So I think they said that they were going to take down a couple of things to make room, though. Like they were going to
Are you asking me or telling me? I know nothing.
I think they were going to get
nothing.
Nothing.
No nothing.
Also,
Schultz, Hogan's Heroes.
yes. Also,
Educate yourselves.
so the attractions, or lands as they call them, will be across 14 acres each.
It's a lot of acres.
That's huge.
It's more acres than I've got.
Like
I'll
I
tell
didn't I knew. I've always known that the Disney World and Disneyland theme parks are big, right? But I never actually thought about how large they would have to be to incorporate all the shit you see in those people's pictures.
Oh man, I read the other day there are apparently people who are part of Disney street gangs, quote unquote.
Street gangs?
Yeah, they wear like jackets with the Main Street of Regulars or something on the back.
And they walk around going, "Tunnel snakes rule!"
Yeah, pretty much.
Do they click violently at each other?
They apparently just generally act like dickbags and ruin everyone else's time.
Oh, wow, okay.
So yeah, that's it's kind of a shitty thing to do. /B.
Okay, well, on the plus side, C-3PO and R2-D2 might just be wandering around saying hello to people.
They are Disney characters.
Yeah, they are
It
now.
makes sense for them to be in the park.
Yeah, so I think it's...
Do you mean?
Yeah, I do. Shut up. What are you gonna be so horrible? So, yeah, it's so they're possibly gonna have it out by the time this episode is out. The first of the new set.
First of the what?
The new set of Star Wars films. You know, the ones that's starting at the end of the year.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant this episode of Comedy Bronze, and I was like, wow, that was fucking quick. They built him inside a week.
Yeah. Well, the magic of Disney.
Episode 7, Sean. The Force Awakens.
Yes.
It has a name.
By Jabrams.
You better not fuck this up, Jabrams.
No, it's Jabrams.
Your place of residence is a matter of public record, and I'm coming for you.
Jabrams.
Jabrams. Jabrams Palace.
Yeah. In keeping with things I've said in the past, I'd probably suck his dick.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
And now a break. In the middle of his penis. Coming this summer. Wow, Julian, what have we got here? I don't know, Dick. Looks like he's been slit stem to stern. Based on the award-winning children's series. Coroner's here.
Hello, I'm Anne, the coroner. Alright, let's get his guts in a bucket and back to home for samples.
From the twisted pen of Enid Blyton. Damn it, Julian, this makes no sense. Everywhere we go is another blind alley.
Knock knock. Someone call for a copper on the edge.
Good heavens, it's George. We thought you died.
That's what I wanted you to think.
Famous 5. Death on Kieran Island. He's got a gun. Timmy, kill.
You fucking wolf.
Oh, welcome back, Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Comedy Bronze continues unabated.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty is the greatest show on TV.
It is the geetest.
Sean is wrong about DeviantArt.
Oh, Chris is generally annoying.
Yep, okay. Just briefly, Sean made some claims about DeviantArt.
I didn't make those
Last
claims.
week.
I said that this is what I was told.
No, look, you don't need to get defensive. Just let me go. About the nature of DeviantArt's copyright policy, and they were wrong, but a very easy mistake to make.
Right, okay.
What DeviantArt's terms of use actually say
Right.
is that by uploading bullshit to their servers, you give them the right to store, transmit, and reproduce it.
Right.
And the wording on the terms of use is a bit vague and doesn't really seem to impose any limits on those things.
Right.
Which is slightly worrying, but the main reason that language is there is because if you didn't give DeviantArt the right to transport and reproduce your work, the very act of displaying it on their webpage would be illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would be breaching your copyright.
Okay.
Copyright is weird. The end.
Yeah. Just stick stuff on Imgur.
I thought you were going to say stick stuff up your butt.
Well, I mean, that goes
We'll do it
without
as
saying.
Shakespeare did, in the back door.
57 academics just pumped their fists in the air.
All right, thank you. Old Doctor Who jokes.
I mean, it's
Old
also
Doctor Who jokes.
it's also a reference to the fact that there are 57 academics who think that Shakespeare was, a Nancy boy.
Yeah, I know, Sean. That was the exact joke they made in Doctor Who.
Well, I mean,
Why have you explained the joke? What are we talking about, Sean?
I don't know. What are we talking about? I did the last thing. Or do you want to talk about the other thing I had to talk about?
You metric son of a bitch. Yes, the thing you wanted to talk about now.
Hey, Chris, do you remember the internet from 2006 or 2004?
Boy, howdy do I.
Do you remember David Firth?
Fuck yes, he never actually stopped.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say is Salad Fingers is getting a click-and-point adventure game.
Oh, wow, that sounds terrifying.
So, if you don't already know...
A click-and-point adventure game, huh?
A click-and-point, yeah, I just thought I'd mix it up. Fuck you. When shove comes to push and push comes to shove.
And point comes to click.
Yeah, I'll kick you right in the beans.
For those of you not, David
In the
Firth.
Yeah.
Salad Fingers is a series of really creepy cartoons that a British animator called David Firth made.
Stick the
Yes, I will do the thing.
a link.
Way back in the dawn of time in the year 2000.
It was like 2004, 2005, around there.
Yeah, but he kept making them. He never really stopped. And he kept making other weird shit. It's all up in his YouTube channel now, which I will also link to in the thing.
This used to be all on Newgrounds back before.
Yes,
YouTube was a thing.
Salad Fingers was well up in the Newgrounds pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It's about this creepy guy who talks like this, kind of, wandering around an awful desert otherworld, talking to a bunch of inexplicably meat-filled dolls.
Yeah.
Among other horrors.
Hubert Cumberdale, you taste like soot and poo.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Point-and-click adventure game, huh? Who's doing it? Is it Telltale? Please tell me.
No, it's not. It's actually, Jesus, Act 1 is already out.
Wow, that was quick.
It is being done by, I don't know, it's being hosted. Look, we'll stick the link on the fucking thing for the game.
Of course,
Act 1.
we've become advertisers for David Firth.
Yeah, sure, why not? Act 1's out, and it looks like it's being made with Unity.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Good to see Unity getting a boost. That thing really hasn't had enough exposure lately.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and you can play it on Google Play.
Cool. So is it any good? Have you played it?
No, not yet. I saw it today. I literally saw the ad for it today.
Yeah.
Like this article, and I thought to myself, holy shit, how is a weird set of videos that I watched when I was still in high school now a click-and-point adventure game? That's right, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, that's a pretty big stretch, I guess. I mean, most IPs don't get adapted to the lofty heights of point-and-click adventure games.
I think you'll find it's click-and-point, Chris.
Honestly, when you said Salad Fingers, I thought you were going to say film. And you said click-and-point adventure game, and I was like, oh. Oh, well.
Well, you know me. I love my click-and-point adventure games.
They can't all be winners.
No.
They can't all be winners.
All right, do your thing now.
I have no other thing. I thought you had a substantive topic.
A substantive click and point.
Well, I sent you a list of crap. What's on there?
Do you not have the list of things?
No, it's on my computer, which is turned off.
Okay, well, let's also talk about things that don't make much sense.
Like Chris's inability to type out lists properly.
No. Well, I mean, there's no dot points here. You've just done enter. It's very lazy. Anyway, now, for those of you who do frequent the internet gaming world, you may be familiar with the term MOBA. What's a MOBA, Chris?
Well, MOBA, or Multiplayer Online Battle Arena, an acronym that could describe literally anything.
Yes.
Is the term invented by League of Legends developers of Riot Games to avoid having to call their game a Dota clone.
Well, which it is.
Which it is. It means Dota clone.
Which it for serious is. Okay, so there's a particular game out there which is of the Dota clone variety, but its gameplay is slightly different, but it's still the same basic premise. 3 lanes, things fighting other things, attempting to take the other people's base. There's a game out there called Smite, And the idea behind Smite is that all the characters that you can choose from to play are either gods or demigods from various mythologies around the world.
Yeah, they're mythological beings of various types.
Like Hercules or Ares. Zeus. Rakanishu.
Or Blakalaka, whatever his name is. The guy who turns into a giant mouth.
Yes. I like that you're just ignoring Rakanishu.
Rakanishu is a well-recognized figure in Hindu mythology, and you are being racist by even pointing that out.
I was actually referring to the legendary creature from Diablo 2.
Yes, I know you were. I was making a two-tiered joke by refusing to acknowledge that and
you were
pretending
making
it was a Hindu character.
A two-tiered cake joke, were you? Think you're better than me with your pastry jokes?
Pull the plug!
Anyway, so Smite's been around
Disconnect
for about...
the machines! I don't want to live!
Unsubscribe!
Unsubfucking-scribe from this, I tell you what.
Yeah, the game's been out for, what, a year now? About a year. And it's been doing alright. It's not doing as well as things like League of Legends or Dota, or specifically Dota 2, but it's doing okay for itself. It's got itself a little league. It's got itself a little championship.
Well, it's also got itself a little business model, just like all the other ones, where
Yes.
there's practically no content or ever any changes whatsoever to gameplay. But still, there's 10 trillion things you can buy for $3 each, and we recommend you get as many as possible.
Yeah, and Chris is going to tell you why it makes him angry.
What? No, not really.
Oh, okay. You're not going to talk about how the fact that...
No, actually,
these are all
Smite has a better business model than League. League has a really shitty business model where
Right.
you need to pay either in-game currency or real dollars for each of the playable characters.
Yeah.
And there's a rotating roster of free characters that changes every week or so. And to buy every character for money, it would take like...
Years.
$600? No, not years. It takes dollars.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like...
To earn every character, it literally would take years. The ratio of effort invested to currency earned is ridiculous.
It's astronomical.
Smite, on the other hand, lets you rent characters for just a very small amount per game. And you
And
typically...
it's usually... You can make that amount
Yeah,
by
exactly.
just
You
playing
typically
a game.
earn that much in a game. Or less.
Or
more.
You earn enough usually. It's usually 1.5 times the price of an ordinary hero.
So you can just play any character whenever you want. As long as you don't care about the other optional unlocks, it doesn't matter.
I think they make some of the newer heroes cost a little bit more, but then you would literally only have to play for 2 games before you were able to rent it.
Yeah. So Smite's business model, that part of it anyway, I actually quite like. I think that's pretty cool of them.
No, the thing I was thinking that you might complain about is the fact that these are literally all just mythological figures and you can just... There's no real thought.
Well, okay. Now, the specific thing I want to complain about is actually not anything really to do with Smite or to do with the developers of Smite. It's to do with the fucking Escapist, which is a website which hosts Yahtzee's zero punctuation videos, and as far as I'm concerned, fucking nothing else. Because
okay.
I can't think of a single other relevant thing the Escapist has ever done.
Well, that's fair enough.
In its complete history.
Right.
Someone will tell me that extra credits is a big deal, but honestly, I've never been that impressed by them.
Yeah, okay.
And the Escapist
I watched some unskippable episodes once.
Sure.
That was on there.
The Escapist has a series of videos on the lore of Smite.
Right.
Lore, in a video game context, for... I don't know why you would be listening to this if you didn't already know this, refers to, like, backstory and faffing around and stuff.
Lore, in this case, is spelled L-O-R-E.
L-O-R-E. So the lore of World of Warcraft is all the, prehistory and what all the motivates all the factions, as opposed to, what's actually happening in the game.
Yeah.
So they are now 40 videos into Smite lore.
Yeah.
Now, in a game like League of Legends, where the lore for characters is like a bit in their biographies, a bit in other people's biographies, a bit in, ancillary marketing materials and stuff, assembling a lore guide would be a serious undertaking. But every character in Smite is a fucking public domain deity whose entire history is viewable on Wikipedia.
Yep.
It's the most unnecessary series of videos, I think, that have ever been made.
Yeah.
Now,
probably.
That said, I haven't bothered to watch any of them. I just saw the title of one, which was Smite Lore Part 40, and got outraged. So they might be really well put together.
I was going to say, what if they're good?
They're probably really great and really entertaining. But conceptually, I find them stupid.
I got to be honest, most of the videos I've seen about Smite have actually been quite entertaining. I haven't seen any of these either, but the rest of the videos, like the stuff there's a YouTube channel called The Warp Zone. They've done some videos for them a couple of times because I think they're actually friends with the developers. So they've gotten like the guys who make the game to come in and dress up as the characters that they've designed. Well, not designed, that they've animated, because they didn't design those characters. They've been around for a while.
Well, I mean, they designed the models. I mean, you can't. It's not like they did nothing. It's like fuck it, Zeus already exists, so we got a 3D model of him. Yes, done.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll
Some
just
had
take the
tech.
one out of Age of Mythology and slap it through Game Maker and Robert's your father's brother.
Oh wow, Game Maker 3D. Huh.
Yeah.
Chaz Wazzers.
So speaking of that, what's going on with Everything is Taught Wrong, Chris?
Oh my. Okay, so that unbelievably smooth segue once again. Sean is working from a list of shit I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
At some point,
which you can't see.
Which I can't see, and the audience can't see.
No.
Which was written as notes to myself. I don't know.
Everything is taught wrong, especially programming, is what it says here.
Yeah, so I, in my wasted youth, spent a couple of years pretending to study game development at Monash.
I did that. Not at Monash, though.
Yeah, Sean has also done this. And if there are any programmers in the audience, Monash was a Java-only school, which should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about the level of complexity and competence in their curriculum.
And Swinburne lied about the course I was going to get to do, and basically I've got a BA in box art.
That is also true. I'm very sorry to hear that, Sean.
That's annoying, but, we move on and become librarians.
So, I never actually finished that degree, which is more my fault than theirs, because as much as I may complain about the course content, I didn't go. I spent all my time playing World of Warcraft and dicking around instead.
Yeah, you did.
Time well spent.
Yeah, and money.
But they didn't only teach Java. There was also a unit on assembly.
Right.
For some reason, I can't fathom. And instead of using x86 assembler, which is actually used by every computer, they used a thing called... I'm going to get this wrong. It's either MIPS or SPIM. One is the actual architecture, and one is the emulator for the architecture.
Right.
I think it's MIPS.
MIPS.
Right, yeah, which is just similar.
MIPS.
Yeah, which is just sort of similar enough to x86 assembler that you can transfer some skills across.
Right.
But different enough that it needs to be run in an emulator instead of just being compiled and run. Although I suppose getting output from assembler is kind of a pain. Look, it doesn't matter. The point is, I left that course with a really shaky foundation in exactly what compiled code does and where it lives and how computers work.
They're just big calculators.
They're just big calculators, basically.
Yeah.
And last year, I've probably brought him up before, Casey Muratori, who is a professional programmer who works for Rad Game Tools, who I was talking about last week.
Yes.
Did a series called Handmade Hero, which he's still working on now.
Yeah.
Which is an insane and wonderful project to write a complete game from scratch in C. Not C++, plain old boring C.
Not even C#.
Completely different thing, but yes. And as part of that, he did a series, which I'm absolutely going to link to, even though probably very few people will watch it, called Introduction to C, which is about 3 or 4 hours long. It's a series of half-hour videos. And he basically steps through how computers work, how code works, what compilation is, what execution is, whether or not Windows programs are ever truly 100% compiled. And the answer is no, they're not.
They're not.
Even as they're running, Windows is slotting things in.
Yep.
And I gained more information and more usable IT knowledge from that short series of videos than I got from 3-ish years at a school that was supposed to be teaching those things.
Yeah, Well, that's just... I mean, it's been the same way with lots of not just tertiary education, but secondary and primary as well. And not just about programming. It's about shitloads of everything, basically.
I think my sister works as a teacher, and she has very strong opinions about the way mathematics should be taught in schools.
No, I can't comment on this. I'm a maths dummy.
No, me neither. I'm also a maths dummy. But her basic finding is that everything is very process-oriented rather than concept-oriented.
Well, it takes it even further than that. It's not just process-oriented, it's test-oriented. Like, you are literally... the things I remember about school were panicking and desperately trying to memorize shit from a book that I would spill out onto a page for an hour and a half to 3 hours, and then immediately forget.
That's it. You only need to, except that doesn't really work in maths, which is probably why you stopped doing it. Because it's all foundational and you need to know it for later.
Yeah, and I don't have any fundamentals in mathematics. That's why man invented the calculator, so people like me don't have to.
The other, I mean...
Don't look at me like that.
I'm not looking at it like anything. I don't judge you. I avoid numbers wherever I can. They are frightening.
Yeah, they are.
The other sort of half of this is that, which I brought up in an article I wrote on the old website, that's nooniverse.wordpress.com. Get your eyeballs in there.
Yeah.
I keep coming across things that are explained badly.
Right.
Like, case in point, I mentioned them as the A-star pathing algorithm.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the pathfinding algorithm used in virtually every video game, which is actually fairly straightforward, but no one seems to be able to write a coherent description of it.
Oh, God, no.
Every version of that I found someone attempting to explain it has just veered off into nonsense.
The idea is to get something to move from point A to point B, isn't it?
That's the ultimate goal, yes.
Yeah. And ideally they're going to be able to do that without walking through other things, unless they're doors, which need to be open.
Anyway, that killed 2 minutes. What's up?
I killed a bit more than 2 minutes. No, seriously though, education worldwide is absolutely
and we're dedicated to sorting all these issues out.
Yeah, like we'll move from education to world hunger, and then the stars.
Yes, I think the stars will be next.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's the idea. Screw global warming because global warming. Because I don't know anything about it.
And I tell you, look, forget about global warming. I'm suffering from some screw warming over here. Oh.
Okay. What are they? Just like 2 wet pine cones or something?
I want. How do we always end up in this place? I mean, this time it was my fault. I used the phrase "scrotal warming."
Yeah, but you led me down the scrotal path. I just took my pine.
Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Comedy Bronze. But if you were offended by Sean's flagrant racism, or if you just have a question you want to ask us, why don't you send an email to thirdplacejoke@gmail.com. That's kind of a crap way to end. Stay frasty.